Hey, it's Adrian from the Pageant Project. Just before I get you to our interview, I just wanted to point out that this was recorded on a live Facebook video. Now, the plus side of that is you get to ask questions and get answers from your favourite pageant queens. Unfortunately, the downside, being in Australia with slightly dodgy internet, is that you may hear some audio crackling in the background, and I've actually contacted the people that do our software. There's nothing they can do about it. It's just because Australia is so far from everywhere, so I apologise for that slight loss in audio quality. But if you can put up with that, I do think the flip side is well worth it. So without further ado, let's get you to our interview. It's Adrian from the Pageant Project, and Alicia, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hi, Adrian.
Alicia, how's everything going? You just had a big fundraiser. I'm assuming it went really well. So why don't you catch us up on that to begin with, because it looked amazing.
Yes, thank you. So as part of my, first of all, for those who are tuning in and may not know, I am currently a national finalist for the Australian Power Pageant. So I'm in the running for the titles of Miss Global Australia and Miss Intercontinental Australia. And as part of the pageant, we are encouraged to support an organisation of our choice. So I wanted to support a local organisation that I could be directly involved in, and I came across the Esther Foundation, who basically they provide a residential health, leadership and development program for young women who are going through difficult times. So it may be that they have, mental health struggles or substance abuse issues, family breakdowns, everything beyond that and in between. So I wanted to do something to promote what they do, because they are only a small organisation and not many people have heard of them.
Yeah.
So underneath their organisation, they have a secondhand clothing boutique. So they take on like high-end labelled clothing from, all donations. And again, no one's heard of this boutique, so I wanted to do that as well. And me being me, having modelled for 11 years now, and
I can't believe that.
I know, it makes me feel old. So I wanted to, utilise the network that I already have, the different people that I know in that industry, to put on something for this wonderful organisation. So I held the Esther Runway on Saturday night, showcasing some of the pre-loved items from the Esther Boutique and raising awareness for the Esther Foundation. So it was a big, big process, and I'm still recovering. It was a really amazing night.
When you said me being me, how crazy was it in the lead up to the event? Because you normally are killing yourself. So for you to say this is worse than normal, I'm almost afraid to ask. So just how bad was it? Have you slept at all in the last 2 weeks?
A little bit. Sleeping is overrated though, right?
Until it's not.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, Adrian, you know me, I am always busy and always put a lot on my plate. And this somehow seemed more hectic than usual, than as busy as I usually am. I think it was just something that had to be done. It was something that I was passionate about and wanted to pull off. And I only had a very limited time to do what I was doing. It was, a pretty big event that I was trying to pull off. So, and a lot of different people. I had 4 girls from the Esther Foundation that I was mentoring over the last month. So I went in there every week and gave them some modelling tips, and they were actually 4 of my models on the night. So they were aged between 14 and 18, and they're all either have been or are currently going through the Esther program. So that was one thing that kept me really busy, looking after them, mentoring them, even just once a week going in there is a big commitment. And then I had 6 other models to organise and arrange, a hair and makeup team, backstage volunteers, raffle, the actual catwalk, the lighting, catering, drinks, music. Oh my goodness, it was a lot, but I had a lot of support around me, which was really great. So it, made it a little bit easier, and yeah, it was a really great night. Everyone said that it was really fantastic, and like I said, not many people had heard of the Esther Foundation, or within my networks. Anyways, I found that when I mentioned it, people didn't know what it was. So I've definitely raised a lot of awareness about what they do and their boutique. And they also have a catering business as well. So, yeah, as well as a cafe. So basically with all of those things, they get the girls to, it's a way for the girls to develop their skills. So, for example, on Saturday night, I had the cater girls there, and it was all girls from the program doing the catering.
Oh, wow. Right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so they get the opportunity to build those skills, and get out in the community, and yeah, it was fantastic. It was really great to have them involved as well.
I'll bet you mentioned that you had, was it 3 of the models were 14 to 18, and they I'm assuming they weren't models to begin with. Is that correct?
Yeah, so there was four young girls. So
4.
not more. Yeah, a couple of them were a bit interested in it and had done.
Yeah.
Maybe some classes previously, but they had never done anything like that. So yeah, I was really proud of them. It was really emotional to watch, actually.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, how did they feel after having done the event? I mean, because you said they were part of the Esther Foundation, so obviously they're going through the program, so obviously something is not going perfectly in their lives. How did they react to getting on the catwalk?
Yeah, so it was an interesting experience for me, because I mean I've done modelling for years now. To actually teach someone else from the beginning, the absolute basics, that was an experience in itself. And I think they all had their nerves. It is something that makes a lot of people anxious. Getting up there in front of 60 to 80 people is a huge deal when you've never done it before. Yeah, sure. So they were all very, very nervous. I could tell before the show that they were nervous. But, I just kept reassuring them, and, I had a really great support team out the back, volunteers and models who were there to support them. And, yeah, they were amazing. I was so proud. Like I said, I was a bit emotional watching them, to actually see them up there looking like they're enjoying themselves, smiling, and just absolutely rocking it. Like, it was awesome. And they were, gleaming with joy afterwards. So that just made it worth it for me.
So how does it feel now being on the other side with your 11 years of experience? You're sounding like an old woman. How does it feel now being on the other side where you can pass this sort of your wisdom on?
Yeah, it feels amazing, especially to, young women like that who may not have had that type of opportunity before. So, yeah, it felt amazing. And I had the opportunity to get to know these girls. So we formed really personal connections, and it was a very, almost a big sister proud moment.
I was going to say, you do have a pageant coming up in a week's time.
I do.
Have you been so busy that you haven't really had time to think about it?
Yes, and it's been, a good thing. So I've been so focused on this fundraiser that I've held, and while it's been part of the pageant, it's I don't know how to explain it. It's just something that I've been focusing all my time and energy on, because for me with pageants, as you would know, Adrian, and anyone else who has seen my previous interviews with you, that pageants for me are all about community work and volunteering and giving back to other people. For me, it's a platform to be able to do that, to reach more people. So I finally am doing a pageant where I get to align with my own organisation, an organisation of my choice. And, on Saturday night I went into tears. I was talking in front of the audience, and a couple of the young girls had just told their stories. And silly me thought it was a good idea to get up there after them and talk. And, I was in tears because it was something that meant so much to me. And, so I've been so consumed with, this passion of the Esther Foundation and trying to raise awareness for them that I haven't, I've been organising everything in the background, but I haven't been solely focusing my time and energy on the pageant, which I've been putting in the time for it.
Of course.
But it hasn't been my one and only focus. So, which I think is good because it's kind of distracted me from, putting too much pressure on myself for next week. So, so it's been good, but this week is just getting all the last minute things all together, and I'm off on Sunday nights, so it's come around very quickly.
Okay, I'm going to get you to answer Hung's question because he has very diligently put it in twice. So Hung, I apologize. I'm still getting used to live streaming and his questions went to the top. But Hung has asked, Alicia, you've been competing in the Aussie Power Pageant for quite some time. What is your motivation to keep coming back and trying your luck again? P.S. I hope you win. You deserve it.
Thanks, Hung. Hung, this is actually the first time I've done the Aussie Power Pageant. I have done Miss Galaxy Australia 3 times and Miss Global Australia in 2015. So as you would be aware, I came second or first runner-up in Miss Galaxy Australia earlier this year. And like I said, for me, it's all about using it as a platform to help other people. I've gained so much from pageantry, just from the community work that I've done. Like, it's been amazing. I worked it out the other day that it's now 34 different organisations that I've worked with since starting pageantry in 2013. And I get so much fulfillment from working with these different charities, from children's charities to charities like the Esther Foundation, where it's all about empowering women and getting them back on their feet, to the Cancer Council and all these different causes. I think that's definitely something that drives me. I've seen the impact that I've had for so many different people in so many different circumstances. But it's also been a journey of self-discovery for me. So anyone who knew me prior to 2013 when I competed in Miss World, I was, as you've heard this story before, Adrian, I was so shy. I couldn't hold a conversation with anyone. I was really anxious about talking to anyone, and I never knew what to say and what to do. The thought of public speaking petrified me. And then, in 2016, I addressed 800 people at an international symposium. Mm-hmm. And, for my everyday job now, I'm a public speaker. So that doesn't even faze me anymore. So it's been just an incredible journey, and I just want to keep growing and developing. So that's why I keep coming back to pageants.
I feel in some ways I miss those days when you didn't talk so much. Now I can barely get a word.
I am entertaining.
I give you, yes, you absolutely are. Let me ask you, because, pageants aside, you've been through an incredible journey and I was telling this to the viewers before you jumped on, from even when I knew you, which was back in 2016, not 2013. And then obviously you were the ambassador, still are the ambassador for the Theatre Freedom Project, spoke quite openly about your struggles with mental health. And then you went through Galaxy earlier this year, came that close. It was, God, I still remember watching that. For me, I've told you, was painful. But the person, if I can take you back to 2016 and you entered Miss Grand, and the person that you are now, how are those two people different? Because to me, they don't seem anywhere near the same. Yeah, very, very different.
I can't even, it's last few years for me have just been a complete whirlwind. 2016 was a really tough year for me, as you would know from the Theatre Freedom Project and my story. And when I did Miss Grand in 2016, I was in a really tough place, and it was one of those things that I wanted to do, but I was feeling really anxious and really down, and I was hoping that by competing in that pageant, it would help me feel better. I don't know, I was desperate to feel happy again and to feel something for that matter. And yeah, I was at a really low point in my life when I did Miss Grand, and I struggled being there. I remember feeling really, really anxious throughout that period of time. But that was a learning curve for me, and I don't regret doing that at all. It was part of my growth, part of my development. And since then, I've just focused on growing and developing and building things like my public speaking skills. I would say it was kind of weird for me because after I did Miss World in 2013 and then Miss Galaxy and Miss Global in 2015. So last time I did Miss Global, I came third runner-up and actually got best in interview, which was an on-stage question. So that was huge for me. Like, public speaking was never something I didn't think I was good at it. I was too shy to even try it. So that was huge for me. So I went, up in 2015. I was at my peak. I was so happy and everything was great and I was really confident. And then, obviously I had a few things happen in 2016 and all that confidence just went away. So, I finally feel like I've gotten that confidence back again. Especially with my journey with Miss Galaxy this year. That was amazing. Yeah. And I've learned how to handle myself better and how to deal. It was difficult coming first runner-up at Miss Galaxy, but I think I handled it really well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think I handled it better than you did.
No, absolutely. Well, I didn't have to be on stage being happy for someone who won. So absolutely. I think it's tougher being in the audience. I mean, you probably don't know this. You've ever been in the audience, but when you're supporting one person and then there's the two of you on stage and, you're holding hands and then because they always call out first runner up first. So when they call out your name, like it's not a good thing in my head. And I was like, oh my God, I can't deal with this anymore. So you absolutely dealt with it better than I did.
Yeah, I remember talking to you afterwards and you were like speechless. I'm like, I'm fine, I'm good, it's okay. And you're like,
because I can hardly unload how I'm feeling on you, right? I mean, that wouldn't be fair. It's like, oh my God, I feel so bad. Like, you're the one that was just on stage, but no, I'm not that.
No, well, I appreciate how emotionally invested you were. But, I mean, yeah, it was difficult. Look, obviously, I'd worked hard for it, but so did all the other girls. Everyone in their own right had worked hard and, supported their own causes and things like that. But from my previous experiences in pageants, I had learned how to deal with that type of disappointment. And I knew at Galaxy that I did all that I could do. I put in a lot of effort and I was proud of myself. And, the previous year before that, I put so much pressure on myself and I was devastated when I came top 5. And I know that sounds crazy because I know that's a great achievement, but I felt like I was focusing on all the wrong things in 2017. And I was comparing myself to other girls and just put a lot of pressure on myself and made myself feel really, really bad. And so when I got to top 5, I was proud, but then I didn't get any further. It was tough, but that was a huge learning curve because afterwards I felt so horrible about focusing on all the wrong things, not feeling like I wasn't being true to myself. So this year I was all focused on being true to myself, giving it my all, and whatever happens for a reason. So that's the same sort of attitude that I'm going into the Australian Power Pageant with as well. Yeah.
Hung has said, thank you, Alicia. It's a pleasure to continue to follow you on your journey. You are an amazing inspiration, especially for girls to look up to. And you are done amazing. I think and you are doing amazing at live streaming. Oh, that's to me. Hashtag no stress. Thank you, Hung. I'm learning.
I appreciate your support.
And Hung has also written after that Miss Grand, first time I met you, Alicia. And I agree with you, Adrian. So you met Hung at Miss Grand, did you?
I did, yes. And it'd be interesting to see what Hung says, what he thought when meeting me, because throughout that weekend, I felt so anxious. And I remember thinking, I'm not talking very much. People are going to think I'm really shy and really weird and like awkward. And I remember talking to, I can't remember who it was, but one of the other girls. And, it must have been after the Fear to Freedom project.
Mm.
And they were like, I had no idea that you were anxious, that you were feeling down, especially during that time. And yeah, like it's funny because I get that a lot. When I tell people that I get anxious, they don't see it. They don't understand.
Yeah.
And I think, I hit it during that time.
Of course.
But when I think back to Miss Grand, I think about how anxious and shy I was, but I don't think other people saw that. That makes sense.
Oh, I'm just trying. I met you very briefly at Miss Grand. You came up to say hello because I'd interviewed you, and I thought then you were, because you didn't make the, I guess what you call you didn't place. Like I can't remember. They had a top 10 or something like that, and you didn't make that. And I thought that was surprising. And then you came up afterwards, and I thought, yes, she's quiet. Yes, she's shy. Little did I know how much that would change, but no regrets. And for people to follow you on your social, what are the social media details?
So you can follow me on Instagram at Alicia JVS and on Facebook at facebook.com/Alicia JVS.
Okay. And I just realized that we normally finish with the same 10 questions. I can't ask you the same 10 questions again because it'll be the third time. Do you actually think you'd have different answers?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think you would.
Probably not. I still got the chocolate answer, and then the bubbles is still my favorite word.
Yeah, and you love the sound of the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can ask about Vegemite and chocolate though if you want.
Well, it's funny. You read my mind. So why do you love Vegemite? What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with me? I'm Australian, mate.
I'm going to get into so much grief from some people about this, and then the other half will be going, yes, absolutely. I hate Vegemite.
Everyone who is watching who is a Vegemite lover, please back me up here and support me. And tell Adrian that he's the weird one. Okay, I'm just being true blue Aussie. No, so my mum used to feed me Vegemite when I was little, like Vegemite toast, always. Okay. Like, and she used to go to work really early. So I remember getting out of bed, and she used to tuck me in on the couch, really tight in a blanket. And then she used to bring me Vegemite toast, and I used to sit there watching cartoons. And yeah, it was something that I always had. It reminded me of Mum. And when I was sick, I would have Vegemite toast. And yeah, just any occasion, Vegemite toast is the best.
Yeah, that would absolutely make me not want to be sick, being fed Vegemite toast every time I'm sick.
It works, I promise. Well, as a kid, I guess yeah.
Well, Alicia, there's good news and bad news. So the good news is that Hung has written back saying that entire weekend was extremely stressful, especially for everyone involved, including the contestants. I was only with you girls for the most important parts throughout the day, but I agree you were shy and very anxious. Now you are a brand new person, more confident, and you have developed so much throughout. Smiley face. So that's the good news. The bad news is that he's written underneath that 2-1, I hate Vegemite.
Oh, come on, Vegemite lovers. Gemma, where's Gemma? Come on, Gemma, help me out.
I've blocked Gemma from the page so that she can't vote to help you.
Come on. You know what's even better than just Vegemite? And we were having this conversation on Instagram earlier. My two favourite things, Vegemite and chocolate combined. So good. So they don't sell it anymore because it was limited edition.
Thank God.
I am waiting for the day that they bring it back for good.
I took a block. I think I told you, I took a block of Vegemite chocolate over to America when I worked, and they couldn't eat it. So much so, I actually took a tub of Vegemite over, so much so they couldn't eat it. When I went back a few months later, they still had the tub on the desk in the exact same place. They couldn't stomach it.
Those silly people, they don't know what they're missing out on. she brought back for me.
Did you just say that the entire country, like entire America, is still eating? Or,
Hey, I'm half American, so look, it's the same with my family. I always tease my dad with Vegemite because he hates it.
maybe why you like Vegemite, because you're only half Australian. But before we start just arguing about Vegemite, can you briefly discuss your mum? Because you and your mum have an amazing relationship. You two are very, very close. And you've described her as half jokingly putting up with you. And I know what that would entail. So can you just tell us about your mum for a while and how much her support has meant throughout the years?
Yeah. I have no way to start. She's amazing. Like, she's, my best friend. She's always there for me. She always supports me. With pageants, she always comes along to support me. Poor thing, gets holidays out of it.
Well, I just say last time she went up to Galaxy and I got her a bottle of wine and she finished the whole thing.
It's a social event.
You did say she was an alcoholic. I thought you were joking until it's like, oh, the wine's gone. Like,
She's not an alcoholic.
I know.
No, but I'm so grateful for my mum. We are very close. And I am obviously the woman I am today because of her. And she's been an awesome support over all these years. When I was going through a tough time as well, she was there for me. And she's coming along again to the Australian Power Pageant to support me as she always has for every pageant I've done. She's always been there for me. So I'm so grateful for her and I love her a lot.
Deservedly so. What does the future hold for Miss Van Schoonhoven? I ask you this every interview, and every interview you answer with your a go with the flow kind of girl.
I am.
But I know that you finished your university degree. You have this pageant coming up. So after this, take out the crown or not, what are some of the things you have on the horizon, even if you can't exactly see where the future is going to take you?
Well, look, at the moment, I've literally been taking it one step at a time. I've had this event on my plate, and just been consuming my life for the last 2 months. And then in between that, working and getting everything ready for this pageant. So to be honest, I'm really not sure. I'm really not sure. I am really enjoying my work in mental health at the moment. So for those who don't know, I work as a mental health promotion officer. So my main role is to go out to high schools and talk to high school kids about mental health and, associated issues like drugs and alcohol, social media, relationships, and everything in between. So I love that. I get to go to private schools, public schools, interact with kids of all sorts of ages. I would love to keep doing that. So we'll see where that takes me. But I've always been a person that goes with the flow. So I'm always open to opportunities that come my way. I really can't tell you where I'm going to be in the future. Anything could happen, anything could come up. And again, it really does depend what happens with this pageant as well. My life could go, 3 different directions really, depending on whether, I win Miss Global Australia, Miss Intercontinental, or, if I don't quite make it. So that's going to be a big determinant of what's next for me.
Sure. I'm not sure I can survive another one where you don't win, but we'll see. Hung has written, best of luck for the rest of the interview, Alicia. Great watching tonight, Adrian. The Vegemite talk has made me hungry. I'll be back to watch more later /replay. I think he's a closet Vegemite lover if talking about Vegemite has made him hungry versus nauseated.
I reckon he might be. Or maybe he's going to go and try it because I've talked it up so much and made it sound amazing. Because it is.
What is Vegemite? What is it? What is it made from?
Pure heaven is what it is.
That is such a non-answer, and you know it. Alicia, I know that with with Galaxy, you had sponsors. Are there any sponsors that you want to give a shout out to for your power pageant journey?
Yes, there is. So I am being sponsored by Smart Girls, which is a stylist. So she goes in, helps people with their wardrobes, help people clean it out, goes shopping with them, and helps them to find their style, find themselves through their style. So I'm really excited to be working with Lizelle at Smart Girls. So thank you so much, Lizelle, for sponsoring me. And also Revive Coaching, who run the 7 Ways to Be a Wiser Woman workshops. So for those who follow me may have seen that I've been involved in these workshops over the last month or two. Basically, yeah, it's a day for women to get together to network and talking about things like fashion, money, and relationships, friendships. Mm-hmm. And it's just a really great day. It's a half-day networking workshop. So learning about those things, getting to meet like-minded women. And I actually met them, a couple of months ago. I went to the Every Women's Expo over here and won a prize with them. So I went along to one of their workshops, took Mum with me, and we both loved it. And I just thought it was a really awesome concept, to get women together. And I found it really, really inspirational. I think I was probably the youngest there, but there's women of all ages. So since then, they've actually allowed me the opportunity to talk at their networking workshops as well. So I've spoken a couple of times now to women who have attended about what I'm doing with the pageant and what I'm doing with the Esther Foundation, about the work I do in mental health and everything else that I've got on my plate. So it's been really amazing. It's been great having local sponsors that I've been able to, again, work directly with and get involved with. So, I'm very grateful for their support as well.
Perfect. Okay, well, last question, and I don't know if you can answer it, but am I right in saying that the Aussie Power Pageant has a talent section?
Yes, it does. Are you going to ask me what my talent is?
Is or was. I was told by Krista that, I know what she did. I won't disclose it. I don't know if she wants me to, but she had to send it in. So are you able to tell us what your talent was?
Oh, I could. Yeah, I will. I haven't told anyone yet, so this is exciting. Actually, the talent was a little bit stressful for me because, not stressful, but just challenging. I don't know, Adrian, if you remember the post that I put up when I first got into the Australian Power Pageant. And I put up a post, saying that I was proud of how well I did in Galaxy, but it was time for me to try again. And this time, I was going to really focus on growing and developing, and that I was going to challenge myself to learn something new for the talent section. So
and talk about drawing this out, Alicia. Come on, spill the beans.
Suspense. Keep the viewers intrigued. So I've been told that I'm a really bad storyteller. I take forever to get to the point. And see, right now I'm taking an ad break. So let's go back.
As long as you remember what the bloody question was by the time you get to the end.
No, so I tried something new. Well, sort of new. It was something that I used to do as a child. And then I got out of it and I wanted to try it again. And I've wanted to for years. But unfortunately that didn't work out. I've been so sick in between planning these events and whatnot. But when I was younger, I used to sing. And I'm about to say this live. I don't usually tell people this, but I used to be I don't know if I've told you this either. I used to be in
the Australia Girls Choir.
Yes, the Australian Youth Choir, the Qantas Choir.
Still call Australia home.
Yes. Yes, I think I was 11, 12 when I was in that, only for maybe a year at the most. But I really enjoyed that. And then somehow I got out of it. And I don't know, I lost my confidence with singing. So I actually went and got some lessons, and I kept getting sick. It was so frustrating. I couldn't commit to it because I just kept getting sick and sick and sick. I've been sick like 3 or 4 times this season. So I had to push that aside and save that for another time. But I went back to ballroom dancing, which I also used to do as a child. So I've done a solo dance for the cha-cha, which is interesting. I really enjoyed it though. Getting back into something that I loved as a child. I did ballroom dancing for about 2 or 3 years maybe. So yeah.
Well, I was close when you started your ad break, as you pointed out. I thought you were going to say dancing, but I thought it might have been line dancing.
Line dancing? Oh, Irish dancing.
Yeah, that.
Yes. So for those who don't know, I used to do Irish dancing as a child. And yeah, I did it for years. I loved it. And then, yeah, I don't know. I got out of it for some reason. I think probably moved from Adelaide to Perth, and yeah, didn't take it up again. But yeah, after that, when I moved here, I took up ballroom dancing. So yeah, I don't know how I would go with Irish dancing anymore. I was probably about 6 or 7 the last time I did it. Long time ago.
A fair time ago. Okay. Well, I'm glad I asked you that. You'll have to do a demonstration of your singing when you are well again. But I am going to thank everybody for watching, whether it's live or on the replay, and we'll speak to you again next time.
Hey, it's Adrian. Thanks so much for watching. If you'd like to keep up to date with our interviews, then make sure to subscribe by clicking here. If you'd like to watch some of our interviews right now, then click here, and also make sure to follow us on all our socials right here. Speak to you next time.